Good evening. The Sioux Falls City Council has approved a proposal that bans tents, dwellings, or encampments in public places, a policy that has drawn a lot of public reaction at recent meetings.
And now that it's soon to go into effect, you might find yourself wondering what it might look like in practice.
We did too, and KELOLAND's Dan Santella takes a look in our top story tonight.
This new policy could very well impact someone who can't count on a steady roof over their head. It's possible he or she finds refuge in a local shelter, but that might not be the answer for everyone.
Sometimes they're not, because sometimes they've been trespassed from a shelter because of their behavior. Sometimes they have trauma in their previous life, in their past, that makes it hard for them to experience what it's like to be in these loud, shared spaces.
Deacon Mara Stilson is a leader with Church on the Street, a Sioux Falls nonprofit which works with people living with homelessness or poverty. She points out that someone without their own shelter still has their own name and identity.
And as we drive through downtown Sioux Falls, we see people who have names. And I know the names of the people that we encounter and that we share stories with and that we hear stories of, but even my 10-year-old now can see people on the street and knows this is so-and-so and cares about people who have names, who have feelings.
The new policy requires the city to attempt to connect someone with an organization that helps people battling homelessness. Additionally, at least a 24-hour delay is required before the city could remove a temporary dwelling. Michelle Treasure with the city says both cleaning up and helping someone find a secure place for belongings are part of the equation.
What has worked in the past is that, especially if it's active and that there's someone living there, that we engage that person in cleaning some of that stuff up and allow for them to keep what they need and what they want, hopefully pick up some of that extra debris or trash.
After the City Council approved the proposal last night, the ordinance goes into effect on Thursday, September 11th. But Treasure says not to expect a big change in policy.
September, 12th comes, you're not going to see these teams of people out putting stickers on, people's dwellings or whatever we may find that day.
In Sioux Falls, Dan Santella, KELOLAND News.
And Treasure tells KELOLAND News that a violation of the ordinance would be similar to what happens when someone has alcohol in a park or goes skateboarding downtown. She says an arrest or jail time would be unlikely.